Erev Tov, everyone. A few words regarding Minhagim of Lag BaOmer. Tomorrow night is already Lag BaOmer. So Lag BaOmer appears in Halacha, even though it's mainly custom. But we have a concept that custom oftentimes is not only as strong, but sometimes even stronger than halacha, meaning mevatel halacha in certain cases. So Lag BaOmer is constructed upon these minhagim. So in halacha, we have the rule by Havelus, God forbid, of Mikzas Hayom Kekulo, that the last day of Avelus, of mourning, the restrictions disappear with the rise of the sun in the morning. Mikzas Hayom, a little of the day, is considered like a full day. So we know that we have that halacha regarding Shiva. We have that halacha regarding Shloshim. Mikzas Hayom Kekulo. So that's the din of Lag BaOmer too. Because on Lag BaOmer, the Talmidim stopped to die, like the Gemara says, but they stopped during the day. So that therefore, the cancellation of Avelus on Lag BaOmer is restricted to daytime. You have to wait till Thursday morning. However, throughout the centuries, and especially in our time, because of the fact that weddings were restricted for the period of time until Lag BaOmer, so pressure arose to, can we have the wedding on the night of Lag BaOmer? In other words, do we take Mikzas Hayom Kekulo as being literal and definitive? And if there's no daylight yet, so then the period of Avelus is still, so to speak, in force? Or whether or not the fact that it's called Lag BaOmer already, and we counted Sfira as being Lag BaOmer, so there, and the fact that weddings are primary mitzvot, so can we be mekil? Needless to say, the caterers are in favor of the second option. So there was great pressure in America, I remember. I don't know what it is here, though I think in certain respects it's here as well, to hold weddings on the night of Lag BaOmer. In other words, after they counted Sfira, after you said that it was Lag BaOmer, and therefore weddings could take place. Most of the poskim disagreed. Most of the poskim held that Mikzas Hayom Kekulo applies to Lag BaOmer, and that, for instance, you can't take a haircut the night, you can't shave, you have to wait till the daytime. So the weddings also have to wait until the daytime. However, as I mentioned, there's great pressure, and especially in certain localities in the United States where you can't always get a hall and you can't always get a place. And there was a great pressure on the poskim to allow weddings on the night of Lag BaOmer. Now, this tangentially brings us into another same type of question. We don't, the Ashkenazim don't perform weddings during the 3 weeks, from Shivasar B'Tammuz till after Tisha B'Av. What about the night of Shivasar B'Tammuz? So there we're burning the candle at the other end. We are saying that what? That the Avelis doesn't begin until the daytime. And the proof of that is that the Tainus doesn't begin until the daytime. It's not a 24-hour Tainus. It's not like Yom Kippur or Tisha B'Av. So if the Tainus doesn't begin, so there are many that say that the Avelis should not have to begin either. And therefore, it was permissible to hold weddings on the night of Shivasar B'Tammuz. Rabbi Feinstein has a long tshuva on this in the Igros Moshe, brought in others for him as well. There is a tendency to be, it's like, don't do it, but don't ask me. It's a very gray area. And the question always arises, how do you write the ksuba? If you write the ksuba, Shivasar B'Tammuz, the great grandson who goes to Brisk will say, "Oi, hey, look what happened there." So the same thing that exists with Lag BaOmer. If you write, so the ksuba on Lag BaOmer will not show us anything because we can say it was during the day, it's mutter. But whether the wedding could be held at night or not. So again, in the United States, the Golas, they are much more lenient. I don't know what the opinion of the Rabbanut here is in Israel. Though I have seen that there are invitations out for weddings for the night of Lag BaOmer. There's a custom on Lag BaOmer of bonfires. Where does that come from? What does that have to do with anything? And unfortunately, that custom is such a strong custom. You hear on the radio every day, the fire departments warning you not to have a bonfire. And the more they say it, the more they're going to be. You know that. And kids start collecting the wood and waste material a month ahead. And the city has got these enormous tractors going around and picking it up so that it shouldn't be a bonfire. What's with the bonfires? So it's interesting that the Sforim of the Tshuvas also wanted to know. The Chassam Sefer says he doesn't understand the heter. It's Baltashkis. Apparently in his area of Europe, they used to make the bonfire not so much out of waste wood or furniture, but out of old clothes. People used to contribute their old clothes to the bonfire, and that's what the fire fed upon. So he says that's Baltashkis. Where is there a heter to, if the clothes are still usable, And so you can give them to the poor, give them to an institution, have them remade. You're not allowed to just destroy things. And therefore, he protested vehemently about the bonfires. But as all rabbis know, they don't necessarily listen to you, even if you're the Chassam Sofer. So some say that the bonfires, since Lag Bomer is always attached to Rabbi Akiva, and it's always attached to Bar Kochva, because of that, it's a reminder of the war. That in the war of Bar Kochva, the army of Bar Kochva used bonfires to signal locations, strategy. They didn't have walkie-talkies or telephones or anything. So they had to, in the First World War, they used flares that they shot up in the air. So it was a visible way of communication. And because we want to remember Bar Kochva and the rebellion of Bar Kochva, so therefore the minhag became to have bonfires on Lag Bomer, because Lag Bomer is Rabbi Akiva, and Rabbi Akiva is Bar Kochva. There's a second idea that's mentioned also in the Sfarim. Bonfires were the means of communicating to the exile when Rosh Chodesh would be. Gemara in Rosh Hashanah, there were 10 bonfires from the Mokum of the Sanhedrin in Yerushalayim till Bavel. And that was the method by which Atshekukulu Atzdokim, the Tzdokim who opposed Chazal, so they made fake bonfires on the wrong days, wrong nights. And because of that, they had to go to a different system. Eventually, the system became the permanent calendar that we have today, which establishes for us when Rosh Chodesh is. But as a reminder to the time, again, it's the time of Rabbi Akiva, it's the time of the Tanoim, it's the time of the Bayis Sheni and of the Beit HaMikdash. So as a Zecher, on Lag BaOmer, we light bonfires so that we remember how Yerushalayim communicated with the exile to make certain that the holidays would be observed at the correct time and in the correct fashion. There's a third opinion about bonfires on Lag BaOmer. It's also a type of Zecher L'Migdash minhag, because in the Beis HaMikdash, every day they lit a fire. So therefore they had to bring wood every day to light the fire. It was part of the avodah of the Kohanim. We say it in the Korbanos in the morning. Rabbi Bernstein used to say that the recitation of Korbanos in the morning is the first sacrifice of the Jewish people. But in any event, so it's a Zecher L'Migdash. The Migdash had the bonfire, the Migdash had the fire on the Mizbeach. And Lag BaOmer is the longing for the return
Eat your frozen.